Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to, what are we here for? We are here for a Google Interactive Digital Notebook. So hopefully that is the reason that you are here today. We're having everybody join us, admitting everybody who's in the waiting room, and hopefully giving everybody access to this slide deck. You could get the link in your teacher source login. It was there. There is also a bit.ly address right up here, and it is case sensitive, so you need to make sure and capitalize the BSD, the G, and S in Google and Slides. And my good friend Kristen McCartney is here, and she just put the link in the chat. Look at that. Look how efficient we are moving on all cylinders today. I love it. All right, my friends, we are going to hop in and get started talking about interactive digital notebooks today. And you'll notice that we have sent you to the same slide deck. If you have attended any of our other Google sessions, you'll notice this is the same slide deck. And I will admittedly tell you that it is a massive slide deck. But instead of having you go to a number of different places, right? Like, I don't know, remember which training had the resource in which spot. We decided to just make one giant Google Slides like the phone book, right, if you will. So all of the things that you'll need to know for Google Slides all here in one space. So my name is Carrie. I didn't even mention that. I just hopped right in. My name is Carrie Kunert, and I am one of your digital curriculum TOSAs, and I'm pictured there on the far left. And my good friend on the far right there, Kristen McCartney, she's going to be helping us today and managing our chat for us. With over 100 people in the room, that can be kind of a daunting task. So she's here and can chime in and help us out with questions and help me answer questions and things. So hopefully you've gotten access to the slides, and we'll go ahead and get started. I did want to make sure that everybody knew that we are recording this session. So that's for people to watch later. So make sure that you knew that. And I'm skipping all over the place. If there's something that you particularly want to know, like I really, really wish that you guys would offer a class on fill in the blank. If you don't mind sticking that in the chat, we're using that to plan our Wednesdays and what classes we're offering next moving forward. On the third slide here, just a moment to just take a deep breath. This is a lot coming at us, right? And it's, I need to know this, and I need to know this, and I need to do my very best, and all the things, all the stuff and all the things. And this helps me. Like I literally take a moment and I read this affirmation page, like we're all doing the very best that we can, giving grace to others, which we're really good at, but perhaps not grace to ourselves. So I won't spend much time there, but it just literally helps me. I read it every day, like, okay, one step at a time, we can do this, right? And I just think of the fabulous modeling for kids, like talk about growth mindset, like think of all the things that I'm learning as a teacher right now, and may go great and may not, and we give each other grace for that. So this slide deck was set up originally for our PD on the patio. We broke it up into a basics course, an intermediate course, an advanced course, and you can see in just a moment all of the topics that were there. So we kind of did like a huge overview of all of those different things. And then at the bottom of this slide deck, and all of these link for you, at the bottom of this slide deck, I've just started sticking examples. I have started putting places where people, I think, are using Google Slides in a creative way. And I think it just helps. Like, if there's not just like one way to use it, there are literally like hundreds of different ways that you can utilize it on the teacher end and for kids. And I talked about that in the intermediate section, but I just stuck for you a number of examples there. And most of the examples are, they're already like templates for you to use. So you can click on it, you can go to File, make your own copy, and go to town creating your own Google Slides. So I think it's helpful to see what other people are doing. And at the very end, we're gonna do this. I forgot it last time. So I'm gonna remind myself to go back at the very end and make sure to get your feedback and how you enroll and your course check-in and all of those things. So I wanna make sure you knew how this giant slide deck was set up. And I also wanna make sure you see, this is the topics that were covered in basics, intermediate, and advanced. And I'm using it as a table of contents so that you can access whichever of the pages that you need to find. I did want to let you know that yesterday I taught a class on creating your own class app. And so those slides are linked here, and that PD session is linked here as well. So you can always go back and watch something. And I think that helps. Sometimes yesterday, I know there were people who were trying to build their app with me while watching and building at the same time. So that's kind of difficult. You really need to have two screens kind of set up there so you can be seeing what I'm doing and doing it at the same time. And when we only have 45 minutes, I really don't have enough time to like pause, right? Like, okay, everybody do that, and like give you ample time. So lots of times I know people are choosing to go back and watch it on video afterwards. So when you watch it on video, you can pause me all you want. Pause, go to your slides and do what I just, try it on your own version. So if you think you can handle playing along and watching and listening, go for it. But sometimes that's hard. And I did want you to see that at the bottom of all three of those slides, we do have the Anytime course through Teacher Source you can link, and the recording as well. So that's all there for you. Okay, I think I got through all that beginning stuff. So over here in the advanced menu, the second bulleted item down there is interactive digital notebooks. If you can go ahead and click there, that will jump us all the way down to this page right here, digital notebooks. So I'm going to slide over to my slides just so I have more tools and things that I can play with. So I just took it out of the present view for myself. All right, so we are on this slide, digital notebooks. And making sure everybody's there. Beautiful. It's slide 61 if you're just navigating and sliding down. Okay, friends, digital notebooks. Digital notebooks have always been around. It's kind of been a newer thing recently because specifically of comprehensive distance learning. It's just kids having their own version of a notebook, right? You think of all the multitude of reasons that kids have notebooks in your own classroom, like a writing notebook or a place to keep their science notes or whatever on earth. Like there literally are tons and tons of different uses. But people are utilizing them more and more because obviously you can't sit side by side with the student and see their physical notebook. So it's a way to get kids information, so front load information to share with them, pre-set up notebook or pre-set up sections for them, and a place for them to do their thinking, share their work, and ultimately perhaps an opportunity, a place for you to confer and be able to see. Much easier perhaps than a piece of paper. Obviously you can see a piece of paper, they can take a picture of it to share it, but if you have a digital notebook that when you're conferring with a student, you can hop in and look at their work or check on their writing or see their work, you know, their thinking behind what's going on in their notebook, their rough draft, all kinds of different uses. So basically it's just a Google slideshow, right? It's another use for a Google slideshow. It is just creating this kind of fancy looking notebook, and then kids are just interacting and adding text boxes and adding pictures and all kinds of things. So on this first page here, I just kind of introduce what digital notebooks are. And over on the right, when you kind of have some free time, that's kind of funny, huh? Right? Like one day when you have lots of free time, I encourage you to go to this second link here on the tutorials, Jessica's wonderful YouTube channel. She has gone to town, this lady Jessica, I don't know her, but she has gone to town on all things digital notebooks. She's created all these fancy ones. Obviously she has things for sale that you can buy, but just watching her tutorials taught me a lot about notebooks and how all the potential ways that you could set them up. So some of the ideas on here I've taken from her to share with you. All right, I'm hopping to slide 62. And Kristen, feel free to interrupt me if there are any questions I can address.
Will do. Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, yeah. I'm hopping to slide 62. In slide 62, I just wanted to show you really quickly one example of how these are being utilized. So Nicole Carter and I have been working on our writing units of study for our 4th and 5th grade teachers. And one of the things that we've done in order to give students, right, like you have all these anchor charts that they need, you have all of these resources, and how are kids supposed to get all of that in digital form? So what we decided to do is to create a digital notebook. So these are just linked for you. So you're welcome to, and once you click on the image, you can just go beneath and open it on up. So this was just our game plan for helping our 4th and 5th grade teachers, that if you share this with students, and the vision of sharing that is it can obviously be shared in Canvas, so you can push it out to kids in Canvas. You could share it through Seesaw. One of the easiest way to do that, and I have it linked their directions, are to force a copy of it. So when you force a copy of it, then every student gets their own version of it, so they can start writing on it and they won't mess up your original that you have going on. And if you ever want to know how to do that, you have this crazy long address up here at the top, and there's a slash here. So everything past the slash, if you change all that stuff, like right now it says edit, blah, 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 blah. If you change that to the word copy, C-O-P-Y, and I get rid of all this other stuff, gobbledygook, right? If you take any Google presentation that you've done and you do that and you copy that new address, when you paste it in a new tab, it should, cross your fingers, it should, beautiful. So I just changed everything behind that slash to the word copy, and now it is ready. I can send this link to my students and they're going to be prompted to make their own version. So totally different use. I want them to have their own version. I don't want them to be messing things up on my version. I want it to be their own little version. So in this example, what we've done is we've just created tabs along the side, and this is a template, and I'll show you. I just grabbed this template, but I made sections for the kids like an actual notebook would have. All right, kids, here's the unit focus, and it's simply linked to a different page. They click in that unit focus and they're able to find out what this unit is all about. Here was what we're going to be doing. I had a section where it's all of their anchor charts, right? So here are the things that you're going to need to know for this unit. So I don't have to continuously be giving students that. It's kind of a time saver on my end. All right, here you go. Open up your journal, open up to the anchor charts, and today we're going to be talking about, and I can just reference the section that we're referring to. We've also broken it up by sections over here on the side. So here's session 1. There you go, session 1. This is what we're going to be focused on. Here is my teaching point up at the top, and here's the interactive part. This is what I actually want you to do in the journal. So we're going to be talking about seed ideas. Every student, jot down some of your story ideas right there. So kids are interacting in their journal. So that's the whole idea, not just that they're consuming, they could be getting information from you, but that there's something that they're supposed to do. So perhaps it's like a drag and drop. And on Google Slides, one of the awesome things about Google Slides is everything off to the sides here, this gray part, this is just a working area. So I think on some of the examples here, I've given students just a place, right? So I have text boxes where they can work. Sometimes I've stuck things over to the side. I think I did it on their editing checklist. All right, so over here on this, their checklist, I've given them check marks over here on the side. So I want them to assess themselves and I want them to literally drag in, right? So you could have anything set up for the kids to drag and drop and preset what those buttons or things are over to the side. So they would do that and could do something like annotating or notating right there on top of the slide. So that is how we've set it up. And down here at the bottom, we actually have a space for them to do their own writing. So here you go. This is where you can do your writing. The kids can just literally start typing their story right there. So I have access to that story. When we're conferring, we can hop into their notebook that they can share with me. And if you're not sure, students can share that right over here under share. So a student could share this notebook with me, type in my name, and then I have access to it as well. So we can hop in their notebook and we can take a look at how they've been doing on their writing, if they can write it digitally. So that's just one option of how you can utilize a digital notebook. So I'm gonna hop back over here. So I put the 4th grade there for you and the 5th grade, so you can see how we're using them currently in the district. On slide 63, I wanted to show you totally a different version. These are 3 units that I put together last spring during our, what was it called, crisis teaching, right? Our super stressful, school is out, what do we have kids do? You can check these out too. I just use them to give teachers the information that I wanted teachers to have. So I just created a unit. And again, the audience was for teachers, but you can imagine the audience being for students as well. Here is a complete unit, right? This is a historical fiction unit. Here you go. Here is your introduction. Here are the targets that we're going to be learning in this unit. Here's what you're going to need to know, or your connections in EPIC, right? Here are the books that are available for you to read in EPIC that I've already linked for you. Here are the books and, you know, all of these things here that are just ready for kids. So although this was not intended for kids, but there we go. There are the epic collections that kids can automatically click to. Obviously, this was not set up for kids, but you can just see how a digital interactive journal could be used, right? And the kids could be doing their work, and there could be prompts for kids to respond to, show me your thinking, whatever.
Carrie?
Yes?
I got lost somewhere. Slide 63 doesn't look like what I saw you showing. We don't have two different sets of slides here, do we?
I don't think so. Let me refresh mine. Make sure it's the correct number. Slide 63.
To me, slide 63 says session 18, questions to ask yourself as you edit.
Ooh, I think that you may be in one of the notebooks.
Ah.
So I'm kind of toggle, yeah. I'm hopping back and forth. So
well, I'm still in narrative craft. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries at all. There's tons of tabs open.
All right, thanks for helping me figure it out.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so back in this monster of a slide deck. So those are just some examples. And I'm gonna go ahead down to the next slide. And I think it always helps me to see what other teachers have done. Slide 64 is a number of different samples that teachers have done. And some of them are completely done for you. So like you can click on this ELA one. My goodness, she went to town creating all of these different structures for kids to fill in for ELA. This teacher over here on the right did this awesome reading log. The kids are supposed to fill out all the books that they're reading and rank them. This lady here in the bottom right, I'm trying to remember what she did. She went a little bit crazy. And there are teachers who are going crazy all over the world and they're sharing their stuff with us. So it's like versus reinventing the wheel. This is getting to know yourself, right? Oh my gosh, quick writes. She already has quick writes set up. Book reviews for August. There are her quick writes. And she already has the format. Like you can go through and change any of these things that you want. She's got vocabulary and quote analysis and different quick writes. So all kinds of stuff. So if you find something that you like that another teacher has done, you can go over to File and you can pull down to make a copy, and you would want to copy this entire presentation. And when you copy that entire presentation, you get like a complete version of it, and you can go to town making whatever changes you want on that slide deck. But all of the layout is already there for you, which is just awesome. So example after example after example. I'm now on slide 65, and I put more examples there for you. Social studies, some teachers are using slides like an interactive journal, like to keep a weekly agenda. So more resources. Again, once you have a vision, so it helps me, like I look through all of these teachers. Okay, well, how did this teacher make Algebra 1 look? Like what are the things that they pre-set up in the journal for kids? And then it helps me to kind of frame what it is I'm wanting to do and how many journals I'm wanting to manage. And is this journal only for one unit and then we're done with it, or does it go for the whole year? So it helps to start with a vision first of what you want to have happen. And on slide 66, I started listing for you a number of people are building these not in Google Slides necessarily, but right inside of Seesaw. So if you're utilizing Seesaw, you can build these right inside Seesaw in the drawing feature. So wanted to show you that, and I will add more examples, but as many of you know, we had a Seesaw glitch accessing it today through IT, so I wasn't able to finish that, but I can add more for you. Okay. Option number 1 is you already saw a template up above that you already love. You filed, you made a copy of it, and you're already playing with it. That would likely be me. Option B, if you haven't found a template that you like, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to just pick one for now. Like we're just playing today. It doesn't necessarily have to be the one you end up with. And on page 67, here are some templates that are already, there are 3 companies, Slides Go, Slides Carnival, and Slides Mania. And they provide free templates in Google Slides for people. So I have linked for you 4 just simple ones here, some journals, or you're welcome. These are linked as well, the 3 links to the 3 companies. You can go there and see if you can find a different journal that you want to experiment with. But there's some things I want to show you that you can do once you've picked your template. So I wouldn't waste a lot of time picking like the ultimate one right now. Let's just grab one. So I'm going to grab this one right here. And it's going to open it in that company's page. So it says Slides Mania. It shows me, I can see what the pages are going to look like in that layout. And when I keep scrolling down, 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 down. Looks like I have options. I can do it in a portrait version or I can do it in a landscape version. So you can decide which one works best for you. Because I'm going to primarily have it on Chromebook screens, which are just laid out landscape, I'm going to choose the landscape version, but totally up to you. And you have the option to download it as a PowerPoint or to open that up in Google Slides. So we'll go ahead and choose open whatever template you picked in Google Slides. And if you want to do the same one as me, go for it. Or if you just want to watch now and you can go back and watch this video and do this later, you're welcome to. All right, they show you, this is what your template is going to look like. And you're like, okay, do I love it? Do I not love it? And if you're happy with it, you choose use that template. Now it is creating that blank slate for me in my own Google account. So now you'll notice that it looks like I'm in Google Slides, which is fabulous. And I can see they have put a ton of pages in here for me. And I'm just arrowing down so I can see, okay, topic A, they got topic B, they've got graph paper happening in there. They have all kinds of things set up for me to personalize for my class. Underneath, I'm gonna just go to any old page. I'm just grabbing a page. Up here at the top, you have this thing called layout. And when I choose layout, they have already preset for me a number of different layouts that are possible in here. So I could take this page and it is just a standard blank piece of paper. I could decide I would rather have graph paper there. So if I select graph paper, you'll notice it applies that to this page that I'm looking at. Now I don't really want graph paper, so I'm gonna go back and change it to blank paper. Now, you're welcome to start messing around with that. And on this particular layout, I can mess around with these blank pages without doing any harm, right? To like the ultimate structure of it. If I start changing some of these tabs, it's gonna perhaps mess up the linking that they already have innately done. So what they've already set for you is when you touch topic A, it already knows that topic A is on slide 3. And if you look over here to the left on my menu, yes, in fact, topic A is on page 3. Now what's pretty cool is if I decided I wanted an additional piece of paper in here. So I've written my unit introduction and I wish I had more paper there. And I love the way I have it laid out. I can simply make sure that I have it selected here on the left. I'm gonna unselect it. When I select it on the left, you'll notice that this yellow bar goes around the outside. I can tell that it's selected. I can simply duplicate that page. So if I'm really happy with the way I have it laid out, I can duplicate, which is the keystroke, command, and the letter D as in dog. So you'll notice when I duplicated that, I got a whole nother page. So if I had set this up all beautifully just the way I wanted it, and I wanted kids to have like 6 of those, right, to fill in, I can simply duplicate it over on the side. Okay, so that's how to duplicate. I'm gonna go back over here to topic A and I'm gonna click that link, and I wanted to duplicate it so you can see what they did. They went ahead and changed it because topic A is no longer on slide 3. I added another page in there and it automatically knew that, and it adjusted that slide 4 is now where we're gonna wanna link to. So when I touch topic A, it's gonna take me to slide 4. So I just want to make sure that you knew that it will do that. If you add other pages, they've already set up the formatting so that it will keep that link going for you. Now, some of the things here are super simple to fix, like, right, the front, I'm on the front, I want to change it to a different title. I'm going to just type, they've given me a text box right there. I can simply add my new title, right, to say whatever it is I wanted to say. If I wanted to change the font, I can select it. I can go up here and I can mess with the font if I wanted it to be a different font or whatever. They have given me free reign to control these things, which also means that they have given free reign to your students to control those things. So I wanted to make sure that if the text box is here and accessible, they can mess with it. You'll notice over here on topic A, it looks like I can mess with this, but not really. On top of this is actually just a transparent box. So they have created a shape and they have made it transparent and they put it on top of this topic A. So when I click here, it takes me to a different place. I'm trying to change topic A and I can't, okay? They have that kind of like on a lockdown where I can't do that. I'm going to slide this little box back on top because that is part of the navigation. That's how students are going to be able to get back and forth. Certain things are locked down. Like over here in the spine, they have the word Slides Mania. I can't change that either. And the way they have it locked down is that there are certain things that are in the master view. And so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to access it by view, and I'm going to pull down to the word master. So again, I went to view and I pulled down master. What this is this is how it is set up. This is like the bones, the skeleton of this journal. And anything that I change in here is going to apply to the whole journal. So if I go, you'll notice that this top page up here, he sticks out to the left. This is like the granddaddy of them all. This is the ultimate master slide. If I change it on this, it's going to apply to every single thing that happens in the whole thing. So right now, I'm just going to click on this title. Right now, it's set for this font. It's set for this size. It's bold. I change any one of those things, and it's going to apply to the rest of the slides. So I don't love this little credit over on the side that says Slides Mania. If I change it here, and I'm going to just make it the title of my unit. Let's pretend I had a beautiful title of my unit. Now that should apply, and I'm going to go down to the other ones here. See, I'm moving down these layouts, and it applies to the other ones as well. So you can put it all, whatever you want over there, and it'll apply to others. So I'm going to look over here at these topics. Obviously, I don't want my journal to say topic A, topic B, topic C. So when I am in this mode, you'll notice that I can change it over here. So maybe I'm wanting to say anchor charts, right? Okay, so I just changed it over here. And when I change it here, it will change it on all of the slides. So this is whatever, right? You can change this. Oh my goodness, I don't know, targets, right? Let's pretend I'm gonna list out the targets for my class. And I'm gonna do that all in capitals. So it looks fancy and consistent. All right, oh, I thought that was horrible. I'm gonna make that smaller because it didn't fit. Oh, beautiful. I just made that one font, one smaller. All right, I could go through here and relabel all of these things. And as I slide down, you'll notice that it is in fact changed on all of these different things. Now, the difference between the master and all the different layouts down here is that when I change the master, it applies to the layouts in most cases. When I hop down to this layout, you'll notice that the two that I did change, they're good to go. I haven't changed the others yet. But I'm going to go down one more, and this new layout right here. This layout right here is that first tab. So you'll notice it actually has been designed to cover up the master. So I'm going to go back up to my master, and my master said anchor charts up there. And I'm going to go here and I'm just going to copy this little, I'm going to use my Command C, and I'm going to copy that text box that I put there. Because on the third layout, you'll notice it's just covered up. So if I command the letter V as in Victoria, it's going to paste that right there for me again, if that makes sense. I could just draw a new text box and type it in, but I'm kind of lazy. So I like to just copy and paste things when I can. I don't have to do it again. So the reason for that is, I'm going to slide it out of the way. They have this, just the way they've laid it out so it looks like it's a notebook. They have this covering up the word anchor charts. So I'm going to slide it back over there. I suppose you could get it out of your way. Let's try that on the next one. Let's see. If I'm going to the next one, same issue, right? This one, they actually had topic B there for me. Beautiful. So I can just retype what I had said. I don't remember what I said. I think I said targets, right? I could retype targets there if I wanted to. I could also, let me get that out of the way. Let's see if I can just reveal it. I'm going to slide that out of the way. Yep, there's the word targets, but it's not letting me grab it. So never mind. I can't do that. I can't. I'm going to go with my back arrow. Oh, if you don't know the back arrow, it just undoes what you just did. I use that all the time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to go back one more because I want that text box that you had provided. Oh, thank you. Beautiful. Now I can go back and write the word targets. So you're going to need to go do that. And again, just this one time, it's just to set it up initially. So I have it all set up beautifully. Let's pretend I had done all these. Let's pretend I had had it ready to go. You can hop out of this layout by just closing this X right here. And there we go. It's now applied. You can see in my journal here, I have those titles ready to go, anchor charts and targets. It should be, because I didn't mess with it, I should still have the ability to link as well. Remember those little invisible boxes that they put on top? Those are still there, ready to go. They're linked, right? And I haven't labeled what the rest of these are called yet. Now what I would do is I'd go through topic B, that was called targets. I would make this thing say targets as well instead of topic B so that it matched. All right, now you'll see over here on the left, inside of that targets page, I have this. This is what is behind that targets page. And obviously I don't want it to look like this. So I would go through and I would add my content. So this would be session 1 or lesson 1 or vocabulary or whatever on earth you wanted it to be. And you could go through and specify what you wanted. You can add images here. I don't love that it's a graph paper because that's not going to work for me. So remember, I can go up to layout and I can choose that I'd rather have blank paper. Oh, much better. I'd rather have blank paper on there. Now, if I decide there's a certain template where I wish kids all had a box, they're all going to do their thinking in a specific text box, I could do it on each page, right? If I do it here and I'm creating this text box, the kids can manipulate it and move it. Okay? If I want something where kids cannot manipulate it or move it, I'm going to need to build it in my master. So I'm going to go back up to view, back up to my master, and there's like some template, right? I'm going to go down here on the bottom, and here are my just blank pages. So I'm just going to grab one of these beautiful, this blank page down here. I'm going to duplicate him again, just that Command D. I want one of these pages, but you know what I want on it? I want some shape. On every single one of those, I always want the shape, and I don't know what the reason is for this, but in this shape, this is where they're going to show their work, right? Or whatever. This is where I want them to list their vocabulary. So I'm going to make it white. I'm going to put a nice border on it. If I'm building it in the master, kids can't touch it, right? So there's a lot of benefits to building things in the master. So I can create my own little text box over here, and I could be typing in the directions that are going to be on a ton of these slides, right? This direction is going to here, and kids are going to need to have that, and I don't want them to be able to mess with that box. So up here at the top, I can rename this. So I'm going to call it, instead of blank paper 1, this is going to be that's going to be my vocabulary layout, right? And you could make it a whole lot fancier than I have my vocabulary layout, but basically, there we go. That is now called the vocabulary layout. Did I rename it? I think I did. Okay, I'm going to close out of here, and I'm going to go back to my page, and let's pretend I'm in session 1 and I'm setting this up. Now under layout, I do. Down here at the bottom, I have this one called vocabulary. So I click the one vocabulary, and all of that stuff in there is, I can't move it. This is the text box that was already here, but I can't mess with this thing called directions, right? It's just, it's in the template. It's like already on the worksheet. It's not something I can do on top of it, if that makes sense. So that is really a nice thing. To be able to lock things in place. I don't know if you necessarily want to do it on every slide. If you do, that's just going to be a whole lot of you creating master templates, which you're certainly able to do if you'd like to. But that's a whole lot of work, but you could, if you don't want kids to be able to mess with it. I was thinking like some of the basic structures, like during this activity, you're always going to want you to do this Venn diagram, right? Whatever, you could just have the Venn diagram already preset for them so that they can't mess with it and alter it on the back end.
Very.
Okay. Yes.
Couldn't they also go into master view and edit it?
Yes, they can. They could. And that's I don't know how many kids are aware that they can do that. Probably more kids than should be aware that they can do that, right? But they can. I don't know a way that you can lock it down so that kids can't on their own end, but they would be altering the theirs, right? They wouldn't be necessarily altering everyone's.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. Kristen, any other questions I can address?
Yeah, we've got, Kira, I want to make sure that you've covered what you need to. We've got some questions about how kids turn stuff in, how teachers access it for grading, and then updates after you've published. So I want to make sure you've covered your content, and then those are the three big pieces. Okay, perfect. I'm going to hop back to my slide deck, the original Google slide deck really quickly to address a few of those things really quickly for you.
I am on slide 67 was the one with all the links. I'm going to the next one, which is slide 68. This is a potential, well, so you've shared it with your students. They all have their own copy that they're working on. One potential way to easily get access, they can share it with you, right? So they go up to the right button and they share their notebook with you. You could have that linked, you could just hop to it in your Google Drive. You could name it that student's name. You could organize them into folders, right? It could be session 1, period 2. It could be writing folders. And you could access it that way really easily. You hop in and see the work that they've done. Someone else suggested that they wanted just a space to see all of them visually. So this is just a screenshot, right, of their cover and just having it linked. I could hop in, and that's to confer with them. So if this seems like an extra step that you don't need to do, you can do the same thing in your Google Drive, just create a folder. But you can hop in their journal and you could be conferring with them, right? Let's look at the lead that you've done on your sentences. You hop in page 6 with them. You can actually live, if you're doing like a conferring session with just that kid, you can hop in and see live on your end without them having to screen share or anything, so that you can see their work. You can also literally have them take a screen capture. They could take a photo. You could ask everyone in Seesaw or Canvas or something, I would like everybody to turn in page 9 of your journal with your reflection to yesterday's reading. They could do a screen capture and they would just take a picture, right? They could take a picture of their little screen and they would submit that. So they're like, let's pretend this is my journal and I'm doing a screen capture here and I'm taking a picture of my journal. And I did that by touching the button Shift Command, and I did the number 4. When you do 4, you are given, again, I do them simultaneously, Shift Command and the number 4, you're given this little crosshairs. So you can just take an image of whatever it is you want. Like, I only want to share this part with the teacher. This is what she asked for, my lead. I can take just a picture of that. And then on your Chromebook or on your iPad, you can screen capture as well. And you could just send in just that page that the teacher asked for. So on the teacher end, I'm not having to navigate through all of these different journals to try and find page 5 of your journal so I can score it. So I could create an activity in Canvas saying, I want to see page 5, you turn that into me as one of the options. It could be copying the text too, right? Like, instead of doing a screenshot, I could literally, in my little student journal, I could literally just copy the text and paste it into a Canvas text box to give you my lead or give you the intro to my story so that you can see it as well. So those are some of the options. One other thing I wanted to talk about is on slide 69. And slide 69 is adding new content for kids, right? You've sent it out. Once you've created it and you've given it to kids, it's their version of it, right? So you can't just like go in and type on your master and have it sent out to them. So there are different options that you can copy and paste into. Let me show you the 2 different ways that you can do this. Let me close that guy. I'm just going to open this up and pretend that this is some really important sheet of paper. All of this is super important information that I want my class to have and add to their journals. When I'm over here on the left, I can copy this. So I could send a new slide out to kids and say, please add this information into your own journal. And we could show them how to do that. And I could probably make a video or something how to do that. If they Command C, I copied this slide. I'm going to go back into their journal, right? I'm pretending this is their journal. If I put my little cursor in between 2 slides and I paste it in there, Command V, it's going to put that information into my slides. So if that makes sense, you could just send them out one slide, say, everybody please add this to your journal, and they put that in. Now you do have options here, whether or not I want this to match this current presentation, like this is all set up in the Google color scheme, or whether I want to keep it in its original style, which, as you know, is that notebook. So let's touch original style and see what happens. I think, there we go. It makes it look like it did in their actual journal. It keeps all that formatting the same. So that's totally up to you. Obviously, you'd probably create it in the same format that you are sending the kids to, so that wouldn't be necessarily an issue for them. So that's one way. You can just copy and paste it in. You send it to the kids, they copy it, they paste it in. I'm going to delete that out of there and show you another way that you can do it is to import. So you send kids an updated page that you want them to add to their journal. They can go over to File and they can touch Import Slides. And when they touch import slides, they will have need to open yours. So here is that new slide, right, that you sent them. And they would open that up, select it, and they could then choose the ones that they were supposed to add. So you send them your version, right? And you have updated page 3. They could come in here, see, oh, she wanted me to update page 3. They could select just the page that they need to update in their own version, and it keeps that original theme, and then I could import just that slide right there.
Carrie, that's awesome. Quick, really good question. If I had a table of contents that was hyperlinked and I needed to add new slides, could I have my kids import the new table of contents page in addition to the new page and then have all my hyperlinks work?
Yes, it would still work. It wouldn't work if they had added any hyperlinks, but if you're the one managing all that linking, then absolutely, that would absolutely still work.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so you'll notice it stuck it in there for me. So that page that I inserted for them is done right there. So I could just always have them accessing my master and pulling in slides that you prepared. I know for some people it feels daunting to have like the whole unit ready, right? Like next week, right? You're gonna send out the entire thing with all the resources. So you don't necessarily have to have all of it prepared. You just have to show kids how they can access that. And you have those two options there, copying and pasting or importing. And there is a YouTube video on how to do both of those. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that. And obviously pros and cons to each. And that's that awesome teacher I told you about, Jessica Wilding. Go watch her, she's amazing. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it told me I was logged out.
Oh, no, you're good.
Like, no, don't log me out. That would be really bad right now. Okay, and one last thing before we jump to questions is I just wanted to show you slide 70. And slide 70 is just an idea to get kids into interacting on a Google slide. This is just a get to know you activity. But basically, it's kids get their own slide version, right? I realize it's not a slide deck yet, right? An interactive journal, but giving kids their own slide deck that they're supposed to do stuff on and practice turning into you, right? So here, I want you to put a selfie here. I want you to list your birthday. Like this could be whatever. You can make whatever the activities are in here, but it's the concept that they're getting their own version of the slide deck. They're manipulating it, they're doing stuff on it, and they're submitting it back to you before it's actually in their notebook, that they're getting the hang of that, and also a nice little get to know you. So it could be a seesaw activity or whatever, right? Like I only want to see your favorite foods. I only want to see slide 5. I need you to screen capture that. I want you to send me only slide 5, right? That could be a seesaw activity, could be a Canvas activity, but gets kids in the, a fun way, and you could make these whatever you wanted, but a fun way to get those skills down before they have to start doing it in an academic way. So whatever you can think of to add to that or create your own, I'm sure would be even better than this one. But I think that would be really beneficial at the beginning. It's just to get that flow of information happening back and forth. You could have them practice sharing this to you on your end. You could organize these into folders. You would always know this about your kids, right? Like as to get to know them. So anyway, I thought it would be a nice launch into interactive notebooks if they had all of those skills ready to go. Okay, I think that is all the content I wanted to share. I did want to let you know that on page 71 of the master slide deck, there is a way that you can do information and you can push it out to students, but it involves many, many steps and it seems very, very complicated and fancy. But if you have the ability to figure that out, there is supposedly another way to do it, but I personally would do the copying and pasting or importing. Seems much simpler. Okay, questions for me? Oh, Kristen, before I jump to questions, I want to make sure everybody knows, because I keep forgetting this part. At the very end, slide 160. The very end of this slide deck, I did want to make sure that you knew that we have a feedback form for us already linked down there for you. In order to get credit for this, make sure that you're registered in TeacherSource. And also, I've provided for you the check-in link. So if you are doing this live, your check-in link is the word that says digital notebooks. If you are watching this on an anytime video, your link to log in to get your TeacherSource credit will be that anytime word. And once I have the video uploaded, I will link that for you so that you can get credit as well. Phew, I forgot to say that last time. Okay, any questions for me that I can answer?
Yes. Do you ever have them turn in whole notebooks?
Absolutely. They could turn in the entire notebook to you. It's just a grading beast for you, but yes, absolutely.
And they could also perhaps put it into a video, right? They could go through and make a video from it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gary, I have a question, and I think it may have gone through on the chats, but trying to understand, once you have let a child, once you've sent out the interactive notebooks to kids, how do you can't, they're not the same as when we did Google Docs and Google Classroom. Like, you can't watch the progress. They have to share it with you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, so that would be probably your first lesson, right? You force a copy, all the kids open it, they change their name on the front,
Okay.
and they all share it with you.
Okay. And then that was where you then had the slide that had the link to all of their interactive notebooks on it. That's where one of the suggestions. Okay.
That was a possibility, or just in your Google folder, your Google Drive, you could just create a folder that said writing notebooks, right? And just stick them all in there so that you could have easy access to hop in on them at any point.
Okay.
Another thought with that I've used with students is, and it's one more step, is a Google form where they turn in all of the links, and then I can just click, click, click as I need to. And I've got it all. I always think about myself as the end user. Then I can access all of them.
So in that case, Kristen, you have multiple notebooks that you sent out, and you're doing that?
I would have, my kids would make one copy, and then I'd send them a Google form that says, hey, please include your link for me. And then they'd insert their link, and then I've got all of it. It keeps my Google Drive clean. But I think you could do either, right?
I see. Okay.
Also, especially if you're secondary and you're talking lots of student journals coming at you.
Yeah, it's fourth grade, so it's somewhat manageable.
I like that, somewhat manageable.
Why can't we use Google Classroom?
I didn't even go on.
I'm sorry, the question was, why can't we use Google Classroom?
Yes, because I don't want like 35 emails and 35 shares.
I think Kristen's workaround for having them submit it to you on a Google form would be a better option, or you could just give them a Google, slide and have them all paste in their links or whatever. I don't really fully understand the Google Classroom lockdown this year. Kristen, do you understand why that is?
I could speak as a parent in the district.
Okay.
I think part of it is just consistency. So we've got the two platforms. We've got Seesaw for K3 or K5, and then we've got Canvas as our other one. And helping our students and our families know that they've got one of two places to navigate.
Thank
I
you.
have another question. Has anyone used Kami as a way to push out or take up Google Slide assignments? I mean, I've used it for docs, but I haven't used it for slides or sheets or anything like that.
Do you mean Kami like the PDF annotation?
Yeah, does it work with that or not? Or could you, I guess it wouldn't work with that. That's only PDFs? I guess that's only PDFs. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of just Google Doc. I use Canvas. I'm a secondary teacher. And so I think I could push this out maybe just in one unit at a time through Canvas that way. And it would be framed and embedded within a Canvas assignment page.
Yeah.
Should work, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and just remind your kids to click submit every day so that you can see any updates, or to take screenshots, right? You could have them screenshot, and if you just wanted to see one page.
Yeah, good idea, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, if that,
So I have one more quick question.
yeah.
I was curious about the slip and slide add-on. Is that something that's we can't use because it's not been whitelisted by BSD, or is it just like too glitchy still?
Kristen, do you know the answer to that? I don't know.
I don't know that app. Mary, is it part of the, is it a Google Suite marketplace?
Yeah, it's called Slip and Slide.
Okay.
And it used to be called like Automatic or something. There was a different weird name for it, but they did a bunch of updates last year in the spring once people started, feeling desperate for this kind of work. But pretty much it pushes a new slide into existing student work. But I haven't really been able to try and use it. And I just wasn't sure if there was a reason why.
You could put in a help desk ticket, which is not a helpful answer, I know. The other thing that I've been doing is I've been signing all the way out and then signing in and then actually reading what kind of permissions it wants. And if it wants access to like read, write, delete anything in my Google Drive, IT will say no.
Okay.
So that's been my test on some stuff.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everybody for coming, and hopefully this was helpful. And if you have time to peruse some of the other topics on this slide deck, it will continue to grow and resources will continue to be added. So feel free to come check back here, and we're linking all PD offered on here as well. So hope that's helpful. Have a great afternoon, I guess.